Hello, CrossFit Linchpin. Hope everybody is doing well, enjoying their weekend. Today is August 24th, 2019. And today's conversation is going to be very honest, very real, very genuine, but potentially also a bit polarizing, a bit unpleasant if it hits home for some people. So, anyway, I had a bad experience recently at an affiliate, and I'm going to discuss my bad experience at the affiliate, which is obviously a touchy subject. So the intent of this video is I'm not going to mention any names. We were traveling, my family and I were traveling, so I'm not going to say what town I was in, what state I was in. I'm not going to say the name of the affiliate, none of that stuff. The goal is not to shame anybody because I don't think, I'm not a big fan of the call-out culture. And so you just call people out and shame them. I think that just shuts down people being receptive to learning or hearing or listening or maybe checking out a different perspective. So that's not my goal. I'm just going to have a factual recount of the events that took place and why I'm not a fan of doing business that way. That's it. Take it or leave it. So long story short, my family and I were traveling with my in-laws, with the kids' grandparents, and we were in another state, and we'd been on the road for a couple of days. I brought some dumbbells. I was knocking out the limited equipment option on the private tracks, doing well. But then we were in a town that had an affiliate, and we're like, hey, the grandparents said, hey, guys can leave the kids here for an hour, go take off, have a fun workout, come back. So, sweet. Emily and I went to go work out at the affiliate. They did not post their workout on the website, so I wasn't quite sure, I had no idea really what it was going in there, but whatever, who cares, right? Who cares? Variance, whatever it is, let's go do it. So, walk in, and I'm just checking the place out, and I hadn't noticed that the workout was written on the board, and Emily saw it first. She kind of poked me and nodded to the board with a look in her eye that gave me a bit of a pause. And I looked over and it was exactly what I didn't want to see. It was a warm-up, great, fantastic, and then strength part A, then strength part B, and then a 22-minute amrap after that. I was immediately mystified as to how we're going to fit all of this into a 1-hour class. Very intrigued. And how it was going to be done effectively, well coached, talking about scaling, properly warmed up to go heavy twice, and then somehow actually go heavy twice. And well, the first one, I guess, was I guess they would call it technique work. But anyway, go heavy in a very short period of time in a real way, and then have some juice left over to do a 22-minute workout. So I couldn't walk out. I'd already walked in. It would have been very rude to walk out, so I was committed. We stayed. So we did the warm-up, and then after the warm-up, there was a 5-minute EMOM, which you're supposed to use 65% of your 1-rep power clean. And just every minute on the minute for 5 minutes do 1 power clean and 1 hang power clean. So, okay, fine, I'm there. So we did that, and I just put 135 in the bar and stuck with that because it was the first time we'd touched a barbell, and I wasn't ready to just jump to 65% of my 1-rep clean. I'm sorry, I'm 44 years old. That's just not how it works anymore. And so I just put on 135 because I didn't want to tweak anything, and just stayed there and did the 5-minute EMOM of 1 power clean, 1 hang power clean. We finished that, and then immediately we're going into a 7-minute EMOM of 1 full clean, 1 squat clean, every minute on the minute for 7 minutes, increasing in loading and marking your highest loading on that. And, Emily and I, before this even happened, were like, there's no way that we're going to do anything serious or legitimate during these 2 EMOM deals because we're not properly warmed up, and that's just a recipe for disaster. So we're going to remain very conservative with what we lift and not push it at all. So even being conservative, and Emily was very conservative in her loadings, and somewhere around the third or fourth lift of that 7-minute EMOM of the full clean, which, by the way, is the first time we'd gone below parallel with loading. And so, the receiving position of the clean's not even warmed up because we didn't have time to do a proper warm-up and slowly build up in your loading. So you did some power cleans and some hang power cleans, but we're not going below parallel. And then the first time they're going below parallel, we're supposed to build up to something heavy in 7 minutes by changing the weights every 1 minute. It's just not a fan, quite frankly. And so around the third or fourth minute, she tweaked her knee, even being very conservative, just because body wasn't really warm or ready to go below parallel with even conservative loading. So that obviously sucked, quite frankly, and she, whatever. Long story short, stuck around at the 22-minute amrap went down. She didn't want to embarrass the affiliate or whatnot and say that she tweaked her knee, so she, just didn't mention it. And long story short, we left. It took 15 minutes longer than it should to finish the class and all that. And, which of course, how could it finish on time, right? With all that stuff that I just mentioned, how are you going to do that and do it right in a 1-hour class? You can't. So of course we went 15 minutes over, which, luckily we're on a bit of a trip, so it didn't really matter. But if it was a normal sort of thing where, I don't know, you left your kids with somebody, you get a babysitter, you're telling them how long it's going to be, you can't just run over 15 minutes. So, long story short, that experience was precisely why I'm just not a fan of squeezing multiple things into every hour, every class, trying to rush a strength session, and then after a strength session, get your clients sweaty, and then think that that is the most efficient and effective way to produce long-term health and fitness. I don't think that's the case. And hey, you know what? CrossFit is an affiliate model. It is not a franchise model. And in this same breath of air that I recount this experience, I'm here to tell you that I like that it's not a franchise model. The franchise model tells you exactly what you have to do every minute of the day, what you got to wear, when you're going to open. You have no freedom in how you're going to do your business. So I wouldn't like that, because I like running my business how I want to run my business. And so I wouldn't want somebody to do that. So even though this happened, I like the fact that affiliates have freedom. And you know what? It's that affiliate's choice to do that. And they are, wonderfully allowed to do that. And those clients can show up, and if that's the training that they like, that's the training that they like. But it's also my freedom to not go there again, or not give that affiliate my money or whatnot, because I don't think that's the best way to do business. And as we walked out, the next day, programming was on the board as well, and it was the same sort of deal. It was a warm-up. It was a 5x5 front squat. Then after the 5x5 front squat, which, by the way, a 5x5 front squat with a warm-up and a cool-down, that's an entire hour. Period. End of story. To warm up, to after you do your general warm-up, slowly start building up your warm-up barbell sets until you get to your working sets. And then your working sets are those 5x5 working sets, each one appropriately challenging and taxing of your body with, depending upon how you like to do it, 2 to 4 minutes rest between each one of those 5x5 sets. And then a 10 to 15 minute window at the end to cool down and stretch and walk out. That's an entire hour. So the next day's workout, like I said, was up there as we walked out. It was a warm-up, which was just a general warm-up, I'm sure, like the one we did today, not a warm-up of loadings towards those 5x5 front squats. Then 5x5 front squats. Then, after that, somehow, 3 sets of 5 reps of front rack lunges per leg. Then, after that, still a workout. It just didn't work. It didn't work in an hour. Not only does it not work in an hour, for the overwhelming majority of the population, which are regular folks, they're not competitors, they're regular folks. They're, moms and dads, they're accountants, construction workers, first responders. It's just not necessary. It's not necessary. It's not necessary, and it's not the most effective way to achieve that goal. And the only time that I actually have gotten tweaked in an affiliate who again shall remain nameless was the same sort of protocol. I walked in, didn't know what I was walking into, kind of did just a pop in, say hi to the community, and there was a warm-up, then a very rushed 7-minute front squat, pause squat thing, then a workout afterwards. So in a very short period of time, when my body certainly was not ready to go heavy below parallel, I tried to go heavy below parallel, and I tweaked my back. It's the only time I've gotten tweaked in doing anything. And now it's saying, it happened to my wife last week. But here's the other. So here's why. First of all, I'm not a fan of it because I don't think it's the best way to do business. And if it was the best way to do business, that's what I would recommend everyone in the world does. I want everyone to get as fit as possible, have as much fun as possible, be as safe as possible, and be as healthy long-term as possible. And if I, with all my heart and soul, thought that that was the case, that's what I'd be saying. Then the other part of that is, now I'm sure that there are gyms out there doing it well. So I would be remiss if I didn't think that that there's no singular event in the universe that somehow, somewhere is pulling this off and pulling it off well. I'm sure that's the case. But I feel supremely confident saying the overwhelming majority of places doing business that way probably aren't doing it well. And when you're crammed for time like that, you're just hustling. You're just moving from thing to thing to thing. And so there's not a lot of wonderful time for just highly personalized individual coaching. Hey, you know what I saw on your, you're clean over there. This is going on with your second pull. Come on over here, Becky. Let's check that out. Drop the weight down a little bit and that. So, and then the other part of that is, so let's say, so I did that workout, and I popped in, did that workout. We had the warm-up, the 5-minute EMOM, the 7-minute EMOM, and then the 22-minute AMRAP. And even though the second part, the 7-minute EMOM was the full clean, the full squat clean, increasing in loading, since I wasn't ready to really do that, at the end of that, we put the bars away and started the 22-minute AMRAP. I guess I was supposed to tick the box off for a heavy clean session, but it in no way, shape, or form was a challenging, progressive, heavy clean session, so that, if I'm looking back on what I did, if I wanted to get in a heavy clean session that week, it was kind of a waste of time. It didn't stimulate my body and my central nervous system in the way that it needed, so I'd still need to do that later on. That's the inefficient part of it. You're just not getting the benefits of it that you should, whereas if you just respect a heavy day and just go heavy, give it the attention, love, and respect that it deserves. And my fear also is, let's say that somebody's in that environment, be it athlete or be it coach, either one. And maybe, individuals are plateauing, which I would tend to think you're going to, because if those were what my strength days looked like, I wouldn't progress. Again, it just wasn't enough to challenge me. I didn't have the time to really do it right. So there's probably going to be this plateau or this ceiling where it seems like, hey, this isn't working. So-and-so's doing something different. They're getting stronger. They're getting fitter. They're getting whatever. Human beings are interesting creatures. So what will most people probably think, right? Be it athlete or coach. They're going to think, okay, I'm not happy with where my lifts are, but I'm lifting every day. So most people aren't going to think, you know what I need to do? I need to do less. People just don't think that. They're going to think, I need to do more. So one session a day didn't do it, and so I'm going to bump it up to 2 sessions. And then I'm going to have more inefficient, ineffective, long-term things that don't treat my clients, don't treat my clients that well. So that's generally my fear. And again, personal opinion, and you're free to do whatever you want. Like I said, I'm sure there are some affiliates out there that do it well and pull it off well, but I think more often than not that's not the case. And I do think that there is a pressure that you feel, especially some affiliates, that I've got to fill every single hour with something wondrous and high heart rate and barbell inducing, or that's what people are paying me for, which I get that, but they're also paying to have you you are in charge of their care, you're in charge of their long-term health and wellness and fitness, and they're tasking you with making the best decisions for them. And if you fill the hour with something like that, what you don't have is just don't have time. You don't have time to coach. You don't have time to really chat about scaling. You don't have time to really have each person, when that hour class ends, feel like you gave them a tremendous amount of attention. If something was, let's say, a relatively short workout, like Elizabeth, 21:15:9 cleans and ring dips. Let's even say it's the squat clean, so it's going to take a little bit longer. So depending upon the athlete, let's say that Elizabeth is going to take 8 minutes to 15 minutes. Okay, so you've got an hour class, and you've got 8 minutes to 15 minutes. Split the difference, 12 minutes. You've got a 12-minute workout, and you're like, yeesh, I got to fill another 48 minutes of that class. How am I going to do that? I got to do a bunch of tap dancing and keep my people entertained. If you do a 15-minute general warm-up, okay, and then after the 15-minute general warm-up, you take another 15 minutes, break out the barbells, start to slowly increase the loading. Coaches are walking around, checking out each person's lift, making sure their pull, their midline looks just how it should. Talking to people about the ring dips going on today. Hey, I know that's a struggle for you. Come on over to the rings. Here's the scale that we're going to get set up. In that 15 minutes, you have the time to do that. People have been able to slowly warm up their lift, get on the rings a few times, get prepped for that. They're going to walk away better and more educated on the ring dip. They're going to walk away better and more educated on the full clean. And then at about the 30-minute mark, you start that workout. It takes you 8 to 15 minutes. So when you're done, you have a ballpark 15 minutes left in the class, and that's 15 minutes to cool down, stretch, talk with the clients, and then you leave. And that's great. And everybody left happy, healthy. They got what they needed. They were allowed to express intensity, and they had what they needed beforehand to, again, to have that interaction with the coach, which that interaction with the coach, real, patient, detailed interaction with the coach, can only happen if you have the time to do it. Because it takes time. It takes time to see multiple reps from the athlete, and then see it again, and then change the weight, and just make a good decision. So, anyway, again, the intent of this video is not shaming, because as soon as somebody out there that does business that way, sees it, they go, oh, we do that on my affiliate, and it works fantastic, and you're dumb. It's not the point. Relax, everybody. I'm just giving a factual account of what in real life happened last week, and I'm not making it up. I was there. My wife got tweaked, and I've been around this for long enough, starting in 2005, so what do we got? That's 14 years now, that I've heard enough stories from individuals that lead me to believe that this is the case. Okay, I've heard far more people say, hey, my gym used to do multiple things a day. Hey, my gym used to do a heavy lift and a workout every day. And then we stopped or changed, and I'm so much happier and healthier. My body feels so much better. Things are moving in the right direction. My joints don't hurt every day. I've heard that so many times that there's either an amazing conspiracy out there, or those people are actually telling the truth. And I can count on one hand over the course of 14 years people that are like, hey, My gym's significantly increased how many workouts we're doing every day, and I feel like a champion. I'm sure there's somebody out there that would be on that bandwagon, but for every one person that I hear like that, I hear 200 say the other thing. So I tend to think that the majority is probably right on that. So anyway, that's it. Take it for what it is. It's just my factual account of what happened, and I would be remiss if I didn't do it, because if just saying this can help somebody out to avoid the same situation, my goal is for everybody in CrossFit to be happy and healthy for a very, very, very long period of time. So that's that. Have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you later.